right, Moncton, let's have some fun. So I know that I'm the one on the stage right now, but I want to start by putting you guys on the spot. And what I'm going to do is just ask you guys a few simple questions, and I just need a show of hands. So first question. Over the last 5 months, I want you to come up with one word that represents your #1 priority for those 5 months. So go ahead, figure out what your word is. If you're not sure, just go with the first word that pops in your head. So how many people said their job, work, their career? Show of hands, nice and high. Nice and high. Okay, I'd say about half the audience. How many people said school? Let's show of hands, school. What about taking care of their kids, their family? Okay, good amount. How many people said happiness or following their excitement? Nice and high. Wow, very good. That's excellent. Second question, for that same 5-month time period, I want you to rank your level of happiness on a 0 to 10 scale. 0 being that you haven't cracked a single smile in the last 5 months. 10 being that if you were any happier, your head would pop off. So go ahead, average out that number over the last 5 months. How many 10 out of 10s? Anybody? We're the super happy people. Close? Any 9s? Few 9s, that's really good. How many 8s? Very good, I'd say almost 30%. How many 7s? Yeah, what about 6? 5? A few 5s, okay, good. So you guys are an extra happy audience. The last 3 times I asked this question to an audience, the averages were 5 and 6. So you guys are definitely a happy group, so congrats to that. Now, third and final question, is happiness A, an inside job, or B, something we need to seek out, we need to find, we need to achieve? So who says inside job, right? Of course, everybody knows that it's an inside job. So if happiness is an inside job, why are most groups averaging 5, 6, 7, right? Why are we seeing so few people at 8, 9, or 10? My daughter started grade 1 this year. And I'll never forget it because the night before she was so excited, and then the next morning, not so much. A lot of nerves, some tears, but eventually we got her into the car. And as we were driving to school, between the sobs in the back seat, I was thinking about all the things that we learn in our formal education, right? Math, science, history, physics, biology. And I realized that at no point in our formal education are we ever taught the one thing we want most. What is that? Happiness, right? I spent 10 years working in tech. And if I think back on that time spent sitting in a cubicle, what it seemed like was that most people were disconnected. They were disconnected from themselves, and they weren't authentically happy. Now, most people weren't sad or depressed, but most people seemed to be living more content lives with a few happy moments kind of sprinkled in here and there. So eventually I left tech. I took with me my troubleshooting, my problem-solving skills. I started studying the mind, consciousness, human behavior, healing, and I started working with people. And I started thinking about, what is it that really makes people happy, right? What really connects us with what we have going on in here? So the analogy that I came up with is what I call the inner inbox. Now, when we're born free of programming with this clean and empty inbox. And as we grow older, with every experience that we experience in life, we receive an email that represents that event. Attached to that email are the emotions. So positive, happy experiences, positive, happy emotions. More difficult, maybe traumatic experiences, well, negative emotions come in. So when the pleasant emotions come in, obviously they feel good. We open the email, we process it. When the negative emotions come in, well, we know they don't feel so good. So we set them aside. We don't touch them. We don't open them. We don't process them. What happens over time? Our inner inbox gets cluttered with negative emotion. That's why if you've got a roommate that walks in and he sees that you've left milk on the counter, picks up the milk, gets upset, starts yelling, throws it across the room, it's not because he's sensitive to milk. It's not because he was born with anger in his DNA. It's because his inner inbox is cluttered with anger. Now, what happens when you clean out your inner inbox? Because, believe me, everybody has garbage in their inner inbox. So what happens when you clean it out? Well, first of all, it's easier to be happy. Okay, who are the happiest people on the planet? It's kids. It's young children. Why? Because their inner inbox is still empty. They don't have all that emotional baggage. We don't lose our happiness. It gets covered up by all the negative emotions that we carry. Right? Most people don't even realize they have them. On the second day of a workshop, I had a gentleman come in to talk to me. The day before, we spent half the day emptying our inner inbox. And he said, Nick, you're never going to believe this. He said, the way I felt when I woke up this morning, and this was a trucker in his 50s, he said, the way I felt this morning when I woke up, the only way I can describe it is the same way I felt when I woke up as a 10-year-old on Christmas morning. So what else happens when you empty your inner inbox? It gets easier to let love in. So many people are living their lives with a closed-up heart. It doesn't feel safe to love. It doesn't feel safe to be loved. It might be from traumatic relationships, bad breakups, childhood experiences. I worked with one woman who, at a young age, had the belief that it's impossible to love me. We cleared the emotion or the belief that I can't be loved. She cried for almost 5 minutes. And then she looked at me, she said, you know what? These are tears of joy because I could actually feel love for the first time in my life. So our beliefs are much more powerful than people realize. So what else can happen when you clean out your inner inbox? Your physical body. I had a girl come to me because she was experiencing panic attacks. She was off work for 2 months. We did one emotional clearing session. Her panic attacks were gone. She was ready to go back to work. 3 more sessions, and the chronic pain she experienced every day for 3 years was completely gone as well. I've seen these kinds of shifts with anxiety, depression, eating disorders, relationship patterns, money issues, you name it, all because of the stuff that we're all carrying. Now, I believe that there's 2 things that everybody wants. One is more happiness. Second is for the world to be a better place. Who here agrees with that? Right? Anybody not want that? No, of course not. Now, I like to think I know a little bit about innovation. I spent a number of years working in startup companies. The last was a social media company that was acquired for a lot of money. And I believe that we're living in one of the most exciting times on the planet. There's innovation going on all over the place. But where we need the innovation the most is not out here. If we really want happy people and a happy planet, we need to start innovating in here. This is where it really matters. This is where everybody needs to go. Now, I started off talking and asking a few questions, and I want to ask a few more to finish up. So, what are we waiting for? Right? Are you waiting for that special relationship to show up? Retirement? World peace? Your bills to be paid? Are you waiting for the Leafs to win the Stanley Cup? And what would it take? Right? What would it take to let all of that stuff go and start being happy today? Thank you all for listening.